Bulgaria gave Russia their alphabet. Russia gave Bulgaria communism. I started writing when I was living in Bulgaria in 2017. I'd been watching things on YouTube made by Americans and English vloggers, and even like the BBC, and they always focused on things like prostitutes and gypsies. That seems to be like an obsession with these things that they have when they film Bulgaria, as though those things don't exist in England or in America, when of course they do. They exist, like, on a much bigger scale.
In the middle one, he
Shot her.
He shot her.
Shot himself. Yeah.
After that, the Yavarov
shot himself.
The woman talking is a friend of mine. She's telling me about a poet named Yavarov, born in the late 19th century.
Became
Blind.
Only blind. Yes. And 1 year ago,
Later.
When Bulgarian and Bulgarian society, intelligence society, in front him, he drink poison and shoot again. 1 year ago.
Fucking hell. 1 year later. Yeah.
Later.
Many great writers and poets come from this period in Bulgarian history. In 1878, after 500 years of slavery, a heavily outnumbered army of Bulgarians managed to liberate their country from Ottoman rule at the Battle of Shipka Pass. Not one Bulgarian on those hills avoided responsibility. Pride replaced fear, and duty replaced self as the battle raged on. For hours they repulsed the enemy and emptied themselves into eternity, to be forever entwined with what they did on that day. Even in death, many volunteers served as fodder against encroaching Ottoman soldiers as they were hurled at their foe by their fellow countrymen. But one man stands head and shoulders above the rest in every Bulgarian's heart, and that man is Vasil Levski. Levski was probably the biggest influence on why I started to write, because I just thought his story was fascinating. It was like undercover espionage, against a mighty empire, and he died shortly before the Battle of Shipka Pass in 1873, so 5 years before. But his influence on obviously Bulgaria and the revolution, and getting the revolutionary movement started, etc., really had a massive impact on their history, and he's like a god in Bulgaria. So that's why I started to, maybe what sort of prompted me to start writing. But I'm not a writer, I'm just a person who's written a few books, and I became interested in when does somebody become a writer? Like, if you've written a book, that doesn't mean you're a writer, because anybody can write a book, but also, do you need to sell a book to become a writer? I don't know, because then you've got like great artists like Van Gogh, who died penniless, who you could say, well, if he didn't make money during his lifetime, he wasn't an artist, but obviously he was. Obviously I don't consider myself in the same bracket as Van Gogh, but so this started me off on this journey towards writing. Then I realised after writing a book, the hardest part is to try and sell the book, to promote it, to market it, which is, it's a huge task. Okay, so first of all, I started with my first book. I started sending it out to a few publishers. I think I sent it to 2 publishers, and I didn't get a reply, so that was the end of that. I didn't want to start begging people, you know. So I decided to self-publish. Self-published within the first week or so. Obviously, lots of people buy it, family and friends and things. So you have like a big bump in sales. And then I think I got like a few thousand downloads with when I put it online for free. But then after that, the sales petered out, and you know, I started trying to promote it on Twitter and all these different avenues. But I think I lasted about 2 weeks, and then it's not for me. I'm not begging people to read my books, you know. I don't care. And also, as time went by, I realised that my books are not good enough anyway. I didn't edit them properly. I just kind of threw them up. I didn't put the hard work. I think the hard work in writing a book comes afterwards, you know, right after the creative part, sort of the business part, where you have to like you have to edit it again, keep editing it. I give it to I actually paid an editor about £800 because I still believed in it. After a while I thought, okay, so I paid an editor £800, and she went through it and just kind of highlighted all the mistakes, etc. And then she started talking about like on the third edit, the fourth edit, the fifth edit, and I was like, I can't pay £800 for every edit, you know. So, and even then, like the average book sales for a self-published author are about 250 in a lifetime. So you're never going to recoup that money, yeah. And the average sales for a published author are about, I think it's about 3,000. So your percentage as a writer off that, it's just terrible, you know what I mean? You're going to get about 50 pence off each book. So you're investing lots of money to get 50 pence off each book. You need to sell a lot of books to get your money back, yeah. So then I went down the avenue of like engaging with writers, you know, talking to them on Twitter, communicating with them, and thinking how I can make a better product, and maybe sort of to promote books, you know, to go down this avenue. The idea was to promote my books initially, but then obviously as I spoke to more and more writers, I realized it's kind of a desperate situation and it's difficult to sell books, yeah.
Какво е решението, което вие предлагате? Кое е решението, което вие предлагате?